Okay, I guess the intro didn't play. Welcome back to the Green Logbook. I got to look into that. Wonder why it didn't play. Anyhow, all is it- welcome everybody, and glad to have you here. Uh, Talking a little bit about why veterans struggle after the military. Okay, this seems to be a pretty big issue. Uh, Enough so that I had a meeting this morning with or had a meeting yesterday with a representative, a PhD from the University of Utah. Okay, now let me tell you a little bit about this. Okay, this person reached out to me a while back through different channels. Right, I connected with another doctor from UCLA. They're doing a social psychology kind of study on veterans, and then I suppose my name has been kind of going around to all these different universities and landed on University of Utah and had a conversation with one of the doctors there. And they asked if I would be willing to come on as a veteran life experience consultant, which I gladly agreed because this is where I live. I love this topic, right? Helping vets and establishing a purpose and a mission after the military, right? Military to civilian transition, essentially. So jumped at the opportunity to help out with this study. Along with this study, okay, and we just went through the focus group this morning. Okay, more information on that to come. I was just answering some questions on LinkedIn about this. So jumped on the first focus group this morning, and it was pretty in depth. It was about an hour and a half or so with two PhDs, two doctors from the University of Utah, and two other veterans, myself and another veteran from Texas, another veteran from Florida, and just kind of talking about our life experience going from military to civilian. Okay, and how it kind of hit us as we got into our first job, our first civilian job. And I can honestly say, like, I don't know about you, but it was a major shift for me as I was going from the military, from uniform to um, to my first civilian job. Right now, that first civilian job was a contractor, so I was essentially working with a bunch of Navy. But when I got into that federal service position, less active duty around, zero active duty around, and a lot of civilians. So a big shift going from the Marine Corps and then a Navy centered active duty command to just a civilian workforce. Big shift in that. So had a lot to say about it. And the good thing about this thing is actually let me get the information here so I can give you all the up to date stuff. So it's two universities doing this. Let me see. Where is it? I believe it's Duke University as well. Well, I connected with University of Utah, and essentially, what what happened was the doctor over at UCLA that I connected with and mentioned that I run mentioned to this Utah doctor, hey, Vic runs this YouTube channel. He runs the military retirement podcast. He's got a Facebook group, military retirement group. So essentially, there's pretty far reach there with a lot of veterans, right? And they're like, hey, you'd be perfect for this position. Let's get you on here. And I mentioned, hey, look, can I? There there's a lot of other veterans out there that I talk to on a daily basis. Can I get them involved in this as well? And they were like, yeah, we actually need that. So they're looking for about 20 folks or so, 20 veterans. Um, and the thing was, when they explained this to me, they were saying that they were kind of glad that it came across me because uh, they were when they put it out like a blind link to for people to sign up, they were getting a lot of non-veterans, just people signing up to the link and lying on the questionnaire in order to get the compensation. So the compensation is a $45 Amazon gift card. And folks were like just signing up just to get the gift card. They were jumping on and actually going through the focus group, answering random questions with random answers, I assume, and sitting there. And since they actually signed up and whatever, they were eligible for that gift card. So they're like, yeah, we're actually looking for vets, like no shit veterans who have had that lived experience. It doesn't matter if it's 4 years, doesn't matter if it's 40 years, and sharing their experience. So I said, hey, yeah, sign me up. I'll jump on the focus group and I'll do the consultation stuff with the university. So I'll be going over there and not over there, but via Zoom, right? And talking to them every so often. So that's why I wanted to bring this up. And I'll be sharing a link at some point um, with you all. So I wanted to get like I guess a show of hands or put in the comments, like, is this something that you would be interested in? So when I sat in the focus group today, they asked a lot of questions about veteran identity, like how do you establish connection after after the military and going into your first civilian job, and you know how are you with oversharing information? Like, do you tend to overshare information about your veteran experiences? Do you not? Um, are you comfortable with that? Things like that. And it's as easy if you don't want to answer the questions. It's as easy as saying, "Hey, I'm going to skip this one," and they'll just move on to the next person. Fairly easy. So it is. I was very interested in this, very interested because it is right down my alley, right? I'm doing the master's in behavioral psychology, and that's kind of how randomly, like my name is getting submitted to uh, UCLA and then University of Utah and then Duke because they're doing all these veteran studies now. So I also mentioned, maybe do some studies on like the VA as well, like how well the VA is helping veterans as well. So maybe that's something they're going to look at in the future. But here, let me go to the comments here really quick. Oliver Rust, hey, welcome, man. Hey, good to see you, buddy. Navy Cop would love to have been a fly on the wall for that one. Oh, dude, you say less, man. You could be a human on the wall in that one. You could actually join in on the conversation. Your name actually was one of the ones that I first thought about because you did the Navy. You're looking to do the mentorship thing, and also you're working in another civilian job, right? I think you're doing security. So yeah, your name came up. Like I didn't actually say your name, but I thought about it. Excuse me. Navy Cop, all about this. It feeds into my shift towards coaching and mentoring. Yeah, absolutely it does. So it's very cool. And so I'll tell you, the focus group was 90 minutes long. Okay. I literally just finished it at like an hour ago. It's 90 minutes long. And it was just, again, two PhDs, researchers from the university, and then 3 veterans from across the country. One of the guys was actually retiring like that month. The other veteran is working at a university in like their veteran transition center. And then there's me, some dude on YouTube. So, but yeah, a lot going on. And I'm glad they're actually doing this research on this stuff because I think it needs to be done. It really does. Here, let me see if I got an email here. No, not yet. Yeah, it needs to be done. And any way that I can kind of move the post forward or the ball forward a little bit on understanding veteran mentality and the military to civilian transition, that would work out a lot. Let me see. I'm getting texts here. I don't know what this is. Yeah. So Oliver Rust, man, strange. I retired and wound up homeless for 2 years. Help. What's that? I survived. Yeah, but dude, and I hate to hear that, man. I'm sorry about that, dude. But it's your resilience, right? You're very resilient, and that word is kind of thrown around a lot to kind of like it's almost like a suck it up type thing. Like, hey, just suck it up. You're resilient, right? But you're here today. Yeah, you were homeless 2 years, and you're here today, which I'm thankful for, man. Let me see, Brandon Addison. Hey, welcome, welcome. I think that's a new name. Brandon Addison says, I'm getting into filmmaking. And I'm very curious Brandon Addison. So are you a veteran, and what branch did you serve in? I mean, are you currently active duty? Are you a veteran? Like, tell me a little bit about yourself. Brian Hahn, welcome, welcome. So if you're just joining the channel, if you're just joining the live stream, talking a little bit about the focus group that I just left about an hour ago. So if you don't know, I recently linked up, and I'm now officially the veteran life experience consultant for the University of Utah. And within that position, I'll just be kind of coming into focus groups and helping the University of Utah doing the research on the military to civilian transition. On they're focusing on veterans right now. So I guess my name got thrown around, like I mentioned, from one university to another, and they reached out asking if I would be interested. Jumped on my first focus group today, and it was exceptional. It was two doctors asking a lot of questions about the military to civilian journey, and what the essentially what the military could do a little bit better. That's how we ended it, really. How the military could do a little bit better in putting out a better service member, a better veteran per se. Give me a second. So Brandon, I'm curious, man. Now that I'm seeing you Army retired 22 years. Thank you for your service. I'm curious about whether or not you are using Veterans Readiness and Employment to pursue your filmmaking career. And the reason I ask that is because Veteran Readiness and Employment can actually get you the equipment that you need in order to succeed for or doing your degree. So if you don't already have a degree in filmmaking and you sign up for VRNA, you identify a school, they'll get you your laptop, they'll get you a camera that you need in order to succeed in that program. So anything you need. And I just submitted a bunch of paperwork to my counselor and to my counselor. I got it from the VA requesting a lot of ergonomic equipment for my school. So requesting a stand-up desk, an ergonomic chair, lumbar support, footrest or foot pad so I can stand up on this stuff, a new monitor because my monitor sucks. I requested all that stuff. So from what I understand, that stuff can be purchased by the VA for you in order to succeed in VRNE. So potentially that could happen. But if you go to your VA's request of information department, ROI, it's called, you can submit a request. They'll send it up to your doctor. Okay. Whoever your VA doc is, probably a week or two later, you'll get that letter back. They'll send you a message on the VA app or whatever. You'll get that letter back saying it's ready to be picked up, and go pick it up, submit it to your VA or your VRD counselor, and you're good to go. You should be good to go, at least. You should be. Let me see here. Navy Cop, I've seen the topic regarding veteran transition in other Facebook groups, but it is so hard to know if they are veterans, AI bots, actual vets, bitter vets, not the best focus group to work from. Hey, dude, I'm glad you brought that up, Navy Cop, all right? Because I have gotten emails, I've seen these other focus groups on veteran stuff, and I don't know whether or not they're real, they're scams or what. And I'll be honest, man, I went through it myself just an hour ago. Well, at 11, now 2 hours ago. And I can tell you it's legit. It's legit. I mean, they even brought me on as their consultant for the University of Utah. So it's legit as far as I know. I mean, unless it's not, then I haven't found that yet. But it was quick and easy, 90 minutes questions. Asking about, the vet's struggle to adapt after the military in the civilian workplace, and pretty easy to answer, and really good to connect with all these new veterans that I just met like 2 hours ago, from different parts of the country, different experiences, one Navy veteran, another Marine Corps veteran. So really good. And at the end, they're like, yeah, and we'll look out for your email because we're going to be sending you a link to your compensation, which is a $45 Amazon gift card. Who doesn't want a $45 Amazon gift card, right? We could all use new socks after a hump. Let's see. Um, I got my VRNE appointment coming up July 16th. Awesome, dude. Congratulations, man. I hope everything goes smooth. Brandon Addison, thanks for the info. Hey, you're very welcome, bud. Very welcome. Uh, oh, yeah, yeah. Not specifically the focus group, but the actual vets or users providing responses. Yeah, yeah. So the good thing about this one is it's not like a Facebook group. What they do is they send over a link via email. You meet up via Zoom over on the University of Utah's platform or whatever connects you to their Zoom account, and yeah, then kind of a meet and greet type thing, and then these researchers just get into the questions. Pretty simple. And you can answer as much as you want. It's very open and honest. And if you want to skip, you can skip. And they tell you, you don't have to share if you don't want to. But I mean, if you're not going to share, then why are you there, right? Let's see here. So yeah, that after doing this focus group, I wanted to jump on the live stream. Just, I mean, for one, to share this information with the masses and see if anybody's interested in jumping on this focus group. Of course, you get compensated, right? I'm not a salesman or anything like that. It's not a scam. I literally just went through it myself just to see how it all works, and it looks good to me. It was just fine for me. And I wanted to ask folks out there too. After you, there you go. After you left the service, after you left the military, what did you struggle with? What thing did you struggle to adapt to after the service? Like maybe you walked into a civilian job and it was a completely different culture than you ever experienced. And you're like, shoot, it's like, how do I conform to this now? How do I adapt to this? And we all experience it sometimes, you know, going into a completely like a civilian organization after the military. It's like, it doesn't feel the same. You don't have the same brotherhood or sisterhood or anything like that after. You try to find where you fit in. And for me, the biggest thing was when I joined that federal workforce, I immediately connected with a retired master sergeant there, who kind of showed me the ropes. We had lunch. We just talked all the time. It was great. It was great because everybody else around me was, just straight up civilian. Not a veteran, which is kind of odd finding that in the federal government, but I worked under a CHRO, like a civilian human resources office. So I'm glad that this dude reached out. He's like, "Hey, you retired Marine? Me too, man. Let's talk. Let's hang out." It's like having an old friend already built in to the organization. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, Oliver Russ, man. Exactly. For me, it was purpose. Right. You get out. Like, what do I do now? Like, what is my purpose in life? Well, your purpose in life in the military was to complete a mission, right? You had a new mission, like a new rhythm every day. You had a new mission. You had something to do. It was a built-in purpose, right? And once you get out, you got a whole lot of free time on your hands if you're retired or, if you don't know what the second chapter is going to be, you got a lot of free time on your hands. So I completely understand you, Oliver Russ, man. It was purpose. Like, what do I do with my day-to-day life? Um, I sat there and I had to write this. You all know I write this stuff down, right? I write a whole lot, and I had to come up with a routine that kept me busy. If not, I'm kind of in my own thoughts inside these four walls. I had to get outside. I had to stay busy, man. That really worked for me. And continue to work with veterans and now connecting with the University of Utah for these veterans. Freaking, it's outstanding, dude. I could not have asked for a better position. Could not. And it's just a consultant. It's not like I'm working with them full time or anything like that. Yeah, there you go, Brandon Addison, man. I'm glad you brought that up. Working with civilians who are not structured, kind of like chickens running around with their heads cut off, right? Like, there's a way to do it. There's we are in the military, we learn that structure. And when you join an organization that is completely in disarray and unstructured, it's like you're herding cats. You gotta you gotta teach them as well. Um, and I'm curious, Brandon, how did you work with that? Like when you got into a job, maybe you worked with civilians who weren't structured. How did you fix that? Or did you fix that? Or did you just leave that job? Curious. Navy cop says, getting a job, 20 years of moving from bullet to billet versus fighting to gain employment. The civilian culture is still annoying me, finding connections away from work that are similar. Yeah. You know what, Navy cop, man, I'll tell you, dude, I think we had a conversation about this a while back. It is not easy to find a job in the civilian world, dude. And I'll take my experience as an example, dude. I have applied for I don't know how many positions that are like I read the description. I'm like, I am a shoe in for this position, and no calls back, no emails back. And if I do get an email back, it says, unfortunately, we want somebody else. It's crazy. It's crazy. That's why I started developing my own thing. I'm like, if people don't want to hire me for something, I'm going to hire myself and do this on my own. So it's crazy that it has to get like that, but that's the way it is. And just be prepared, especially if you're about to leave the military, be prepared because it's not as easy as we think out there. You know, I had a conversation with a family member of mine who is going to be retiring from the Navy next month. And this family member mentioned, hey, you know what? When I asked them about their plans after the military, the answer was, I'll just get into, I just want a nice six-figure job. I know I'm good for it. I'm trained up for it. I'll get it easy. And I'm thinking, dude, and I had to sit there. Like he came to my house and we sat down. I was like, I need you to understand this, man. Um, don't get mad. Don't get angry if it doesn't come right away. Okay. Six-figure jobs, yes, you can get them. Yes, they're out there. But it may not come right away. Right now, it's a tough time for jobs in general. And when you get out, there's also 10,000 other people retiring that same month or that same period. So you're going to be competing with a lot of folks who have that same mentality. So I just had to be honest. He's like, yeah, yeah, these types, right? Yeah, yeah, I'm good, man. I'll figure it out. Okay, well, do everything you can on the front end while you're active duty, so it'll be an easier transition for you because it is tough. It is tough, man. Um, let me see here. Uh, hot lava. Hey, I appreciate that, buddy. Toes in the water, ass in the sand is my coping mechanism. I like that, man. Yeah, there's I do like the sandy beach and all that stuff every so often when I can. I'll get out to the beach on my side here in San Diego, but I'll tell you, man, I can only be there for so long because I feel like if I'm not doing something, I'm not being productive. I think that's just like the military structure in my mind, right? Navy cop says significant amount of experience in a variety of areas that are meaningful in the military and overlooked by civilians because they don't see the value in it. Yeah, yeah, they don't see the value in it. Case in point, it has taken 5 months for our facilities people to get repairs done in the office, a TV mounted, etc. Being told we can't do it ourselves because it isn't our job. Maybe we just do it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like that we have that just get it done mentality, and that doesn't translate over to the civilian side. I completely understand it. I've had situations like that as well. I'm glad you brought that up. Like you just want to go ahead and just do it. Let me just mount the TV myself. And folks are like, no, 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 not your job. You're going to take away from our job. Let's put a trouble ticket in or whatever it is, and then let's do it via priority. Yeah, it's tough. Six-figure job, that's like these young girls that won't settle for dating anyone that makes less than 1,000,000 per year. Good luck with that. Are there people like that that won't? I guess they are, right? Those gold digger types. Um, yeah, six-figure job, man. Oliver Rust, I retired, went to Home Depot. First question they asked, do you have or have you had the propensity for violence in the workplace? Wow. I said, yes. Never heard from them again. Yeah. Well, I mean, I you might have answered that a little bit different than I would have. I don't know that I would be violent in the workplace, especially if I'm seeking a job from them. But I mean, if you were truthful, you're truthful, right? That's all we can ask. Brandon Addison, I just became a leader and got as many certifications as possible. Being an individual was the only way to keep my sanity. At least the administrative side is more sympathetic. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, so I also did the administrative side after I got out over as a contractor, and I mean that it was rewarding for what it was, but I quickly found out that I was not part of the team as a contractor. You're there, you're like a mercenary, man. You're there to complete a job and then just move on. So, not being invited to like these, unit barbecues and things like that as a contractor, I was like, damn, that really hurts, because I thought I was part of the team, but holy shit, I guess you're not when you're a contractor. So stand by. If you're going to be a contractor, be ready for that stuff. If you're used to that camaraderie and that tribal mentality that comes with that brotherhood and sisterhood, and you are going to be a contractor, I mean, unless you're invited to it specifically, just stand by and be ready for that. Because um, I found that out one time. I was going downstairs to grab something out of my car, and I found out that there were signs that are being posted. Oh, there's a barbecue going on tomorrow. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Is there an email going out with like pricing and all that stuff? Oh yeah, but you're a contractor. You guys don't usually come to these things. I'm like, oh, okay. I had no idea. Army violence in the workplace is our job. So you could say like, I will violently execute the sales of this Home Depot garden center, I suppose. I learned to play the game. Yeah, yeah, learn to play. That's what it is, man. Learn to play the game. That's what it is. But it's hard to. It's difficult, right? You have to adapt the mentality. You got to change the mentality. You know. Let me see here. Trying to see what other kind of questions that they asked me. Um, they asked about veteran identity. How often do you share about your veteran identity? Like in when you go into a workplace, do you automatically introduce yourself as a veteran? Like, hey, dude, I'm Marine Corps retired or I'm Navy retired or whatever. Do you automatically bring that into the workplace? What are your thoughts? Hot lava veterans are not unique in this struggle. My only thing to say after 30 plus years post military service is for each of us to divorce negativity, embrace creating our own purpose. No, I'll be honest, hot lava, man, it does not sound flaky, dude. It does not. It does not. That I love that. That's truth. Okay. Divorce the negativity and embrace creating our own purpose. For so long, while I was serving in the military, I had this negativity about me, right? Like I don't know what it was. And it's like I found that it was not working for me in civilian life. So I had to adjust accordingly, right? I had to learn how to have a better attitude. Has anybody else, am I the only one that has done that? Like I had to learn how to actually put a smile on my face and have a better attitude about life. And why not, dude? I'm alive. I get a chance to live a new life every single day. Go outside, be with my kids, go bike, do whatever. Why not be happy about that? What's with the negativity, right? Brian Hahn, if I was an employer, I would not hire someone who admitted to workplace violence. You- You're not lying, dude. You're not lying. I probably would. would think twice about that as well. I probably wouldn't be hiring somebody um, who is into workplace violence. Like like if you got like Carlos Hathcock or somebody applying to your job, are you going to hire him? One of the most deadliest snipers in the world in history, Marine Corps history. HR is your enemy. Well, HR is there for the organization, right? As far as I understand it, that's how it works, right? HR is there for the organization. Let's see, Navy cop. I'm Navy. There is a requirement in the retirement documents that say we are required to relate sea stories in order to maintain our retirement pay. So, yeah, there you go. Fake it till you make it. Yeah. So you know, I, um, um, I don't know how to feel about that statement. I understand where it comes from, right? It's a very popular statement. Fake it till you make it. Um, but a while back, I thought about that. I'm like, why are we faking it until we make it, right? Why not just be honest and truthful about what we're doing? Years ago, I had a conversation with somebody about that, and when they mentioned fake it till you make it, but why fake it? Why not just do the work and be truthful about it? What about like oversharing? I'm curious because this is another topic that came up during this group was oversharing about your experiences, about your military experiences in like a civilian workplace. Um, the my answer to that was, when you overshare, it all depends on what you overshare, right? Like if you're going to go out and tell like these Lance Corporal or E3, E4 mafia stories, um, in the civilian workplace, people are going to look at you like you're crazy sometimes, unless you're talking to another veteran, right? But what are you comfortable sharing in a workplace, or do you tend to overshare sometimes? As from your military side of things, are you okay with oversharing, or what do you overshare? Sea stories, yeah, sea stories. But what if there's like no, what if there's no other veterans there? Are you going to share your sea stories with random civilians? You know, and you brought up HR as your enemy. A big thing with me going into a civilian workplace was um, you can't be so open with your sarcasm and your jokes, this dark humor that we have in the military, because it's not seen as civilian friendly, I suppose. That's right, Brian Hahn. Be positive and positive things will happen. That's right. That's right. Be positive and positive things will happen. Yeah, man. It's you're manifesting positivity there, man. That's awesome. I love that. I love that. Navy cop, a lot of civilians don't want to hear the truth and tend to put you in the victim category. Again, this was my ex's mantra and not specifically mine. Huh. Love yourself. Hey, welcome. Konnichiwa. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes to all veterans. Semper Fidelis. Semper Fidelis. Awesome. HR. Yeah, exactly. Brian Hahn. HR is there to protect the company from lawsuits. Yes. Navy cop, I do my job. I do in my job when people are looking to travel to Italy, for instance, because I have the driving experience there, but I still try to read the room, and that shows me what's allowed. Yeah. So that's huge right there. It's reading the room, right? Reading the room, understanding who your audience is, understanding who's around you, right? Understanding if your audience is all men or all women. That makes a difference as well. I mean, you don't want to come out and just be known as the person who talks like random shit during meetings, right? Whatever you're talking about needs to be relevant to whatever the topic is, right? Um, Let me see here. What else? What else did they ask here? Oh, they asked about thank you for your service. Like if somebody comes up to you, or they didn't talk about it, it was mentioned. If somebody comes up to you like on the street or wherever, at a store. Maybe you're wearing your hat. Maybe you have a license plate that says Marine or Navy or something, and somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, thank you for your service." What's your response to that? How do you take that? There's a few ways you can respond to it. That I know how I respond to it. I'd like to hear from you first before I tell you how I respond to it. Thank you for your service. So if I came up and said, "Hey, love yourself, BJ4S1, thank you for your service," what's your response? If I come up and said, "Hey, Oliver Rust or Hot Lava 808, thank you for your service," what's your response? Let's see here. More often than not, they're being genuine, and I tell them I appreciate it. Yeah, man, I completely get that too. Yeah, I hope they're being genuine and not just being sarcastic. Thank you for your service. No, 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 they don't. Brian Hahn has a point there. Your female coworkers do not want to hear about your Thailand port call visits. No, they don't. No, they don't. Trust me. Shoot. I don't know that half the time I want to hear about them. Right. So yeah, because I know how it ends. There's, you know, I know how it ends, or most times how it ends. And there was a topic that came up about civilian friends versus military friends, right? You have your military friends, people who you may still keep in contact with, people that maybe you've known for a long time, and you have your new civilian friends, or maybe civilian friends you've had for a while. Like, how do you group them together? Do you keep separate groups of friends? How much do you share with each friend about things? That was one of the questions here, and I'm curious about it as well. I pose that same question to you, like, hey, do you keep two separate groups of friends? One military, one civilian. How does that work? Thank you for your service is like saying thanks or saying hello. I say thanks. Yeah. Usually when I get the thank you for your service, I'll return it with thank you. Well, thank you for your support. I'll keep it at that. Thank you for your support. Thank you for supporting the military or something like that. Mindset, consistency, and activity results in positivity and peace of mind. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So yeah, let me know in the comments. How do you deal with? Do you have two different sets of friends? One military, one civilian? Do you have two sets of friends? Do you just group them all together? One big happy friend family? Um, I'll be honest. For me, I don't group them together. I have two different sets of friends. I don't hang out with many people as it is. I have a very, very, uh, very, very small group that I see consistently. Right, very, very like count on less than one hand, small group. Um, and the civilian friends that I do have, they are mostly from my wife's friends who will go to their places. Sometimes their husbands are there, and I just become like friends with them. That's it. That's it. And of course, I go out to have breakfast and lunch with Brian Hahn as well. So good stuff. Good stuff. But um, I'm curious about your civilian and your friends and how you group those. At least that's one of the questions that came up as well in the focus group today. Yeah, there you go. I have lots of friends, but I trade military stories with military friends. Yeah, yeah. So same. Same with me. Same with me. I don't keep too many people around, but with the military side of things, yeah, I trade military stories as well. Um, then there was a thought that came across my mind about veterans and benefits and um, not just benefits, like a job, right? Like when I mentioned that I was talking to this family member of mine who mentioned, "Hey, look, I'm about to retire. I am, you know, I have all the skills needed for a six-figure position, so I'm just going to walk into a six-figure job." I'm like, okay, I understand that that's what you want. That might not be what you get because that's not the way things work. And the thought came across my mind that, and I wrote it down here: just because you're prior military doesn't guarantee you anything. Like you still got to work for stuff, right? You see how they're trying to like work over these VA benefits, like take them away, change them, etc. It's always like a work in progress. You're always going to have to work. You shouldn't have to, as far as for the VA benefits, but just because you're prior military does not guarantee you things like a job or happiness or anything like that, right? These are things that you have to constantly work at. Tony Slaughter, hey, welcome, welcome. Waiting on these chicken fajitas. Like, are you in the like Taco Bell parking lot or something? Like, what are you talking about? Um, it's Navy Cop customers in, so listening at the moment. No worries. Navy Cop always joins in from work. My man is dual hatting there. I love that. Yeah, civilian friends, I have other things to talk about. Yeah, yeah, and you know what's funny is the civilian friends that I do have, they always tend to kinda gravitate towards, like, military stuff. At one point, one of my civilian friends, we were watching something on TV, like a flyover for some sports event, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, that like an F whatever?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not an air winger, man. I don't know. It probably is." And then it just kinda gravitates over to the military side of things for some reason, and it's like, well, sometimes I don't wanna talk about military side of things, right? So, let's just change the topic there. Yes, the expectation of a high-paying job is an entitlement. Yeah, so, yeah, some folks feel entitled to that, right? They're like, "Yeah, I did what I needed to do, and I'm certified, so I deserve this six-figure job." Well, you don't deserve any you're not gonna get it potentially, you gotta work for that stuff, same as everybody else. At this point, now you're competing with everybody else who has those same qualifications. So, do you deserve it? Possibly. Are you entitled to it? Nah. A good life takes a lot of hard work. It definitely does, man. It definitely does. You got to set up the structure, same as a foundation for any house, right? If your slab sucks, your house is going to be in shambles. You gotta have a good foundation. I have retired pay and 50% disability. I'm not stretching it. I'm good. Awesome, dude. I'm happy to hear that, buddy. I forgot what it's like to be a private. Yeah, exactly, man. It's the struggle, right? The struggle is there to be a private to I forgot what the pay structure was when I came in. I joined the military in 2000 and end of 2003, early 2004. I can't remember what a private was making at that time, but it was probably like 600, 800 bucks every 2 weeks or something. I can't recall. It wasn't a lot. I'll tell you that. It wasn't a lot. 1,200 a month. Okay, something like that, right? Yeah, it wasn't a lot, but and I was the type of guy who was like always wanted in my young years, same as a lot of people at the barracks, wanted to go out and party and things like that. So I'd constantly go to the ATM and take out the money and go party and go to the bar, go to the, whatever, the nightclubs and all that. And nobody ever really taught me about the financial part of everything until like later on, then I started asking questions. That money was enough to buy a brand new Mustang or like a Charger or whatever. Now it's like $1,200 for the freaking monthly payment, dude. You ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it. I had a freaking Marine who had it was a Honda Civic, like a souped up Honda Civic or something like that. It was like top of the line Type R, or I don't know what the hell it was. Um, but this dude was paying somewhere around $700 a month for that Honda Civic. It was like 40 grand, man. It was like it had everything you can think of. And I'm like, no, why not just pay like 10,000 cash for a car and just the dude lived in the barracks. What the hell you need a car like that for? You know? Yeah, 30% APR. Come on now. Come on now. So yeah. So that is the title of this live stream is why do vets struggle to adapt after the military? What's the hardest part of adapting after the military? Is it like finding a place to live? Is it the finances? Is it finding a good structure in life, your purpose, your meaning, you know? And does everything need, I mean, do you firmly believe that everybody has a purpose in life? Like I watched somebody cross a street, pick something up off the floor, off the street one time. And I'm like, I thought to myself, you know, maybe that dude's purpose in life was to pick up that rock off the street or off the road or whatever the hell he picked up. Don't be a veteran that gives us all a black eye. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Purpose. Yeah. Oliver Russ, man, you mentioned purpose, man. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. It's tough to figure it out what you want to do after the military. It really is. It really is. And you know, that's personally, I jumped into a new career immediately after the military. Like I took 2 weeks off. I got bored of being on leave and I jumped right into a new career. I probably should have waited a little bit longer. I probably should have waited. Then, you know, one career, then I got a job offer here and there. And it's like, it was not, I was back in the rat race, man. I was back in the cubicles doing all this. And I'm like, man, maybe I should slow this down because I have not had a chance to breathe in 20 freaking years. So maybe I should slow this trash down. And that's what I'm doing right now. Now I'm doing what I love, man. Live streams, YouTube videos, consulting, coaching, all this stuff. Love it. Now with the University of Utah, this focus group, you know, I got that new position with the University of Utah now as their veteran life experience consultant. And so if you're just joining, let me let you in on what's going on. 2 days ago, I connected with a doctor from the University of Utah who was looking to bring on a consultant for a new study that the university is doing alongside Duke University, I believe. And it's for the studies on veterans and military to civilian transition and how they conform to the civilian workplace after their military service. So I jumped on the opportunity. They brought me on as that. And they're like, hey, look, do you want to jump in on a focus group? You know, just see how it is. I'm like, sure, why not? So I jumped on a focus group at 11 this morning. It is now 1:35 p.m. here in SoCal. So 11 this morning, I jumped on a focus group, or excuse me, 9 this morning, 9:30 to 11. And it was 2 doctors, 2 researchers, 3 veterans. I was one of them. And they were just asking questions about the military to civilian experience, you know, our experience, what we went through, how we adapted to civilian workplaces, et cetera. And along with that, you know, they're like, hey, yeah, you're going to get a $45 gift card for joining and sharing your experience. I'm like, okay, cool. So then they asked me yesterday, one of the researchers asked me, hey, you have this platform on YouTube. You have the military retirement group on Facebook. You got the military retirement podcast. Do you happen to know of any other veterans who might want to jump in and jump on this focus group? You know, it's like a 90-minute thing. They ask some questions In return, the University of Utah gives you a $45 Amazon gift card for your time. And I'm like, yeah, I might know some folks, right? And it was fun to actually talk about this stuff that I've always had on my mind. So that's kind of what I wanted to bring up here. Like, if anybody is interested in jumping on this kind of focus group, let me know in the comments. I know Navy Copy already said you'd be open to that. Um, if anybody else is open to it, yeah, let me know. I would love to share the wealth and give you all a chance to kind of share your experience, share your knowledge, and then get a little bit of compensation for that. Maybe it's only $45 on Amazon, but whatever. I mean, get yourself some new underwear, some new skivvies. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let me see. And the big reason why they asked me about this, they asked me to come on because they said that they tried this same study last year, and they were getting a lot of non-veterans joining the conversation, like just for the gift card. And they quickly found out while they were on like the Zoom, like, yeah, this guy has never served. Like, he doesn't even know how to answer the freaking questions. So they're like, yeah, we had that problem. And, we just like to connect with like genuine, like real veterans out there. So, yeah. Let's see here. Let me see if I got this email back. No, not yet. Not yet. Yeah. So Brian Hahn says some veterans don't have anything other than the military. Yeah, talk to me about that, man. What do you mean? Like that that brings up this statement or this question that this this researcher, this psychology researcher posed to me a while back, asking why I think that veterans wear that Vietnam veteran hat or whatever I served hat. And I thought, and my answer was they're proud of the service, right? They're happy with what they completed. They're proud of the service. And then he asked me, do you think that they are trying to stay within that mindset, within that life that they left? Do you think that that is consuming them, that that is all they know? And I thought, maybe, I don't know. That's a good question, good perspective, like, I don't know. Like, I have a Marine Corps sticker on my car. I mean, I'm okay with my civilian life now. It's just, I'm proud of my service. Let's see here, Brian Hahn. They gave everything to their branch of service, but let the relationship, family, and friends suffer. Yeah. So there's a saying like the the military gets the best of you, and your family gets the rest of you. That's an old saying that I remember hearing, and it's true, right? You're how often do you remember staying after work, staying after working hours to complete a mission, and your family's at home kind of waiting for you, or you're deployed, or you go TAD or TDY, your family's at home, right? So the military gets all of you, and then you're so tired, your family gets the scraps left over for so many years. That's rough, man. Yeah, Tony Slaughter needs a new pair of shower shoes, man. It sounds like you need to do a focus group. You need a focus group in your life. Yeah. Brian Hahn, $45 will get me a few PS5 games. And there you go, man. I mean, and it's not much, right? It's $45 an Amazon gift card, but um I actually enjoyed sharing my experience. They asked some really engaging questions. I really enjoyed it, and to connect with a few other veterans that were on the call, and then there's a follow up as well with like a one on one based on your responses. So very cool that the university's doing this. I had no idea. Like, I had no idea that my name was being thrown around. From UCLA to like Duke to um, University of Utah, and I'm like, well, okay, well, I'm willing to help, and I'll try to get the community involved in some way, share the wealth, and get you guys some $45 gift cards. That'd be cool. Um, Love yourself says, my faith is my strength, guidance, and mindset. I am thankful, grateful, and blessed to enjoy another day of life with purpose, consistency, staying active on a daily basis. It's peace of mind. But I love your mentality, man. I really do. I love that. If more people had that mentality, it would be such a better place, man. Um, I think about it like that too. Like in the morning, I do my walks or I do my workouts, and I'm like, what a blessing it is to have woken up another day to be able to see this, to be able to hang out with my family, to see, the sun shining. What a blessing it is. Tony Slaughter says military life and jail life are similar and different. If you stay too long, you'll get institutionalized. I believe that. I believe that. So what is the right amount of time for somebody to stay in the military based on that? If you don't want to be institutionalized, what are your thoughts? Let's see here. Um, let's go. I did one for Uber. $45 is enough to go to Toby's. Didn't they close Toby's down, man? This guy in Toby's. That's outside New River, isn't it? Toby's. You friggin' dirty dog. Um, Brian Hahn, we should be proud of our service, but it shouldn't be the only thing. I'm proud of my wife and kids. I'm proud of getting my bachelor's degree. Absolutely, dude. Be proud. Be proud. I'm proud to be walking upright today. I'm proud to be able to write in my journal, and I'm proud to be able to take my kids out if I want to for lunch or take my wife out for dinner. You know, the little things in life that we overlook sometimes. Says, God, I love this country. USA, or you're now in the Philippines, right? So which one? You could love both countries, I suppose. See, Tony Slaughter says, hey, Vic, I am going to start a business. After I scale it up, I'd like to go hire vets. How do you do it? It's a great question, man. Great question. Uh, well, depends on the business, I suppose. But I mean, you would have to get the ads out there, the hiring ads out there for people to join your organization. A good way to do it too. I mean, once you start the business and get authorized to be a skill bridge business, and then you could bring people on there who essentially they're getting paid their military pay during the last part of their maybe terminal leave or whatever, and they're working for you. Essentially, they're working for free, right? They're learning the ropes in hopes that maybe you'll hire them at some point, but you're getting to train somebody new. You're getting to give a veteran or an active duty service member a chance to learn a new skill. So that might be something that you want to look into. DoD Skill Bridge, or I don't know if it's called DoD still, DOW Skill Bridge. I don't know, but Skill Bridge nonetheless. I need spotters and I don't need people hooked on drugs. Well, it sounds like you might want to start off with Skill Bridge as well, because they're still active duty when they're on Skill Bridge, and they still are subject to your analysis and all that stuff. So yeah, spotters from line of sight. Okay, right on. Brian Hahn. All right, let's see what you got here. I disagree with Tony. It's not the amount of time in the military, it is your mindset after the military. Be prepared for the transition and achieve your goals. Yeah, yeah. So I believe that a lot of folks don't really understand how much work that transition is going to be, going from military to civilian, right? That's a tough transition. Like, not just like financially, not just trying to figure out where you're going to live, what you can do after, but like mentally, the mental hit that you take too is huge, huge. And there was talk about like the missing the structure, and during the focus group, missing the structure, like how we're so structured in the military to do things a certain way. You have your battle rhythm per se, your battle rhythm, and how you kind of lose that structure when you join a civilian workforce. You have to learn a new structure, something foreign, essentially. Yeah, yeah, you have to have a plan. Absolutely, 4 years or 20 years. No, I agree with you, man. Um, the thing with that is a lot of folks don't plan enough. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, you can't plan for every scenario. You can try to, but life is still going to throw things your way, right? So it's hard to plan for every single thing. A transitional mindset doesn't always work. I thought I was doing okay, but with every time I'm around vets, I see and feel the gap that there is between vets and civilian life. Like, what kind of gaps are you talking about? What do you mean? I love that, dude. Brian Hahn. If you miss structure, build your own schedule. Yes, a routine. That is an excellent comment, and we'll talk a little bit about that here for a few minutes. If you miss structure, build your own schedule. Uh, the routine is necessary in order to have some sort of success after the military, I think. Because so the routine is built in for you while you're in service. You wake up, you may have formation a couple times a week. Um, you may have PT Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, whatever it is. Um, and then there's a structure, right? You go check your emails, you go to meetings, you go to either the flight line or whatever your battle rhythm is, your structure is, right? But what happens is, let me turn this off. What happens after you leave the service? You don't have to go PT anymore. You don't have to. You could. You don't have to. You don't have to go to formations anymore. You don't have to, um, whatever, go to these meetings, answer emails, and go brief the CO. You don't have to do these things anymore. So what do you do with all this time? What do you do with all this time? So we're missing the structure at this point. So what Brian Hahn says here is set your own schedule, build your own schedule. Dude, I was missing that for so long. I was I was a mess with structure after. And then I went out and I'm like, you know what? Let me just write a freaking like a no shit routine, right? Like 05:30, I'm gonna get up, PT and whatever, and then just do things certain times during the day. But you got to stick to it because it's not easy to do that. Sometimes we get lazy. See, I'm getting some text here. Give me a second. Okay, let's see here. Oliver Russ, post traumatic stress, not disorder. Hate that. I'm fine. Yeah, yeah. So I've heard that before, right? That PTSD, PTS, right, is not a disorder. I've heard that because you can learn to cope with these things. So yeah, I like that you brought that up. Post traumatic stress, not disorder. Brian Hahn, my new schedule is based on my kids and their schedule. Family first, always. Yeah, I like that. I agree with that. I agree with that. So similar to you, my schedule is like that too. Right now, they're on summer vacation. When school is in session, that's my schedule. It's built in, right? Be able to drop off the kids at school, pick them up from school, things like that. So just do the father thing. Allow my wife to concentrate on her career that she has longed so much for to grow because we've been moving around so often throughout the Marine Corps career. Let me see. Navy cop, comfort levels, mindset about work, routine, of course. The community is a huge thing. Civilians generally aren't the ones to check in with people like vets are. Too hard to explain it with 100 letters. No, I got you, Navy cop, man. I agree. So that's one thing, right? It's kind of built into you. When you are an NCO, when you are in charge of people, if something goes wrong, it's your ass. You're on the line if something goes wrong with your people, right? So you constantly that's kind of built into us. Like even as E4s, when you get your first, leadership position, it's built into us. Like we got to check in on our people. Some people go overboard and start micromanaging, whatever, but just accountability, right? Hey, shoot me a text when you get there. Let me know everything's all right, et cetera, et cetera. So I love that you brought that up. Civilians generally aren't the ones to check in with people like vets are. Too hard to explain it with 100 letters. Yeah, and even now, right? Like I'm the one, and tell me if you're the same way. I'm the one that that is checking up on folks like family. Like, hey, how's everything? How's everything going with you? Blah blah, blah via text or a phone call or something like that. And it doesn't happen in return. I don't get it in return, right? I'm always the one to reach out. Has that ever happened to you? Do you have that same experience? Oh, the rust. Thank God my kids are grown. I kind of I'm kind of dreading that, man, honestly. Like my kids are growing up and they're already talking about like the younger ones already talking about, college and moving out. Kind of dreading that, man. Like I'm having too much of a good time hanging out with them. You know, I I don't like to think about them being fully grown and out of the house. I know that they have to be adults at some point in time, and I have to hope that I've raised them right, but kind of dreading it myself. Love yourself. A daily consistent routine is absolute with family, etc. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Maybe caught my mom passed, and a couple vet friends called. A few civilian acquaintances said they would show up, bring over dinner or whatever. Not one showed, and all ghosted. Hmm. Huge difference. You know, um, I hate that that happened. Navy cop, I do. Ye- When I was probably in it's probably my 10th year in the Marine Corps, ninth or 10th year. I was stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Um, I was a staff sergeant, and I was the funeral detail commander. Right, I was given that position. Right, and it was probably one of the best positions that I've ever held. One of the best billets I've ever held in my entire Marine Corps career. Um, Detailing funeral detail commander is what it was. We probably did about 60 funerals in about a 6-month period, right? There was a lot of funerals for some reason, especially in around Camp Lejeune, Jacksonville, North Carolina area. A lot of retirees around that area. So we were constantly doing funerals. We even drove all the way out to Raleigh at one time to do a funeral out there. But I had the 21 gun salute team. I was the one, either me or somebody of equal or greater rank to the person. Like if there was a master gunnery sergeant or a sergeant major that had passed away, I would have to get a sergeant major or a master guns to come in and present the flag to the next of kin. If not, then I was doing it. Um, but at one of these events, and it happened pretty often, but one of them kind of stood out in my mind. It was in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and this person, it was like 3 or 4 people from the family, right? This gentleman's family, an older gentleman that had passed away. He was like a corporal or something like that. So he did like one enlistment, and there's a few people that showed up actually. Like, and I was talking to the family prior to, um, or after the fact, excuse me, and they're like, "Yeah, we weren't expecting these people to show up. Like, we don't even know these people." And so during the detail, you know, people were standing up and saying like, "Hey, I didn't know John or I can't Fred. I can't remember the gentleman's name. I didn't know him, but him being a service member, I felt the need to want to come over here and thank him for his service. And there was a lot of people that showed up like that. Didn't know the person, but just kind of showed up there for the person. And it brought a new perspective on the whole brotherhood thing. I was kind of standing in the background, just kind of waiting because at the end, then we have to bring the casket out and then over to the to the burial site and all that. So um, yeah, so it was a new perspective on the whole brotherhood, sisterhood thing that people still were showing up, even though they didn't even know this person. Um, Brian Hahn, my new mission is to be the best dad and husband I can be. I'm paying back my wife for all her sacrifice during the military career. Yeah, man, they did a lot for us, man. Our wives, spouses, or if you're like if the veteran was it doesn't matter who, like whoever your spouse was, man or woman. Um, they did a lot during that time. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to hear that, man. Just reading some of the comments here. So yeah, the topic today, if you're just joining us, is why do some vets struggle to adapt after the military? Why do some vets? What? Why? I just got an email today or a message today on LinkedIn from a retired senior officer, explained to me that this gentleman, struggled during their military to civilian transition and wanted to know more about this focus group. And I'm gladly going to give this person the information that they need. But it goes to show it doesn't matter what rank you were. You could have done 40 years. You could have done 40 years. At some point in time, when you leave something that you've known for so long, it's going to hit you mentally. It's going to hit you. You struggle with that. Actually, let me see if this person has answered back here. Yeah, yeah, they definitely did answer back. So I'll be getting a hold of this person here. Yeah, excellent. So yeah, curious to hear from folks in the comments here because I know we got a few of the same folks commenting on here, and I'm totally grateful for that. But we got some lurking in the background. Why do you think that some vets struggle to adapt after the military? Why do you think that? Is it the loss of purpose, tribe camaraderie? Is it maybe they don't know how to connect with the civilian community, civilian uh, co-workers, maybe? Especially in the workplace. Why is it such a struggle to conform to adapt to the workplace? The topic of TRS, like the TAP program, Transition Readiness Seminar, came up, and they asked like, "What do I think about that?" And I said, "I think it's garbage, man. I think the TRS, the TAP program right now, needs to be completely revamped. But they're just kind of going through the motions of a check in the box, right? Let's show these people how to do a resume. Let's show these people how to uh, whatever network and go to job fairs and ask the right or answer questions during an interview. Those are all cool. Those are all great, right? But what really matters is not getting touched on during these TRS and TAP programs, like the mental hit that you're going to take after you leave the uniform. Like, how do you deal with that? That trash does not get talked about. I don't know if they've updated it, but uh, one of my ideas that I tried to get in front of these classes, but was kind of turned down, was a panel of retirees or other veterans, right? Depending on which one you go to, the regular veteran TRS or the retirement seminar. Having a panel of like five different vets up there, retirees, different ranks, different jobs, experiences, whatever, and just having a question answer period, like no crap, like maybe an hour, 2 hours long. Like, hey, look, give it to me straight. Let me know the realities, the insides and the outsides of what life is really like outside of the military, and just answer questions. That's it. Different perspectives. That's it. And I honestly cannot believe that they turned that down. Cannot believe it. I would have gotten a lot more out of that panel of five service members, five veterans in front of a TRS or TAP classroom than I probably would have gotten out of a resume class or half the stuff was BS anyway. Just a just a check in the box. I probably would have got a lot more out of that stuff. Let's see, let me go to the comments here real quick. Some vets struggle because they wait to work on transition until after they are out. True story, man. True story. Um, they wait, right? There's a comment that I received from someone who was about to retire, and it was, "I'll figure it out." I asked him, "Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that?" "I'll figure it out." I'm like, "Okay," or "I'll figure it out later," is what it was. "I'll figure it out later." And the first thing that came to my mind was, dude, that later is going to come really quick. So figure it out while you're still active duty, man, because you don't want to be outside. It's going to take twice as long to get an appointment. It's going to get twice as long to get any care. Figure it out now. So I'll figure it out. I still can't believe this dude said that. I'll figure it out. Um, Oliver Rust says, I did a military funeral. I presented the flag to his mother. She said, thank you to me. Almost cried. Dude, yeah, there are times like that, man. There are times like that. There was a funeral I did for a corporal, E4. I mean, the guy was still kind of in his 20s. He passed away, right? And there was a lot of bikers that showed up. I guess he was part of like a biker club or something. A lot of bikers that showed up. This was in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And the the whole family was there, and I presented the flag to the mother. The father was there too, right? And I stood up, and you got to give the slow salute, right? Slow salute. And as soon as I came down, immediately got a hug from the parents. And I was it caught me by surprise. I was at attention after the slow salute. They came and they hugged me and try to keep it together. Give them a little hug back. They just lost their son. They just lost their son. So definitely, it's a very emotional moment. Some of the vets struggle because, oh no, Brian Hahn coming through with the truth bombs. No, no. Love yourself. Yes. Yeah. I thought the panel was a great idea too, and I can't believe they turned it down. Um, because so these TRS, these TAP programs are run by a contractor, and it's not part of their curriculum that they need to fill per their contract, right? And my thought was, hey, how about we do this like outside of the contract? Like maybe I mean, I don't know how you get outside of that contract. I don't do many government contracts or anything, but I thought this would be a great idea. Folks will get a lot out of this, but you guys are telling me no. Strange. He said, "How dare you propose a positive add-on to their contract?" Just, dude, I'm telling you, man. Again, it caught me by surprise, but then, I mean, that's what prompted me to go a little bit harder on these YouTube videos, right? Like this whole community, because I'm like, okay, well, if this contractor is not going to do it, well, people need to know about this stuff. Because if you sprinkle classes, let me sprinkle some networking and some job fair and some resume and how to tie your tie or whatever the hell they teach at TRS. I can't even remember. That ain't gonna cut it, man. That ain't gonna prepare you. That's not gonna prepare you for a life after 2 decades of service. Come on. There you go. Yeah. Brian Hahn, I truly believe humor will get you through the hard times in life. Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. I agree. But when the wife is pissed off and I start smiling and I make a joke, it's probably not the right time. So you got to pick your times wisely. How high were the bids? The bids for the contractor for TRS? I have no idea. You can go on, I think it's sams.gov. You can actually bid on this stuff as well. So I don't know when their contract is up, but I was even playing with the idea sometime last year of like maybe I should just start my own like TRS organization and bid against this. They're called caliber systems. Bid against them and see how that goes, and give actual meaningful TRS classes to people, not just sprinkle resume trash out there. I mean, that can be good because you don't want to submit a fitness report to your first employer, civilian employer. So, just reading some of my notes here that I wrote down from the meeting. There was talk of like, what's the first thing you did when you left the service that you have not been able to do? Like one of the veterans in the panel in the focus group was a female, and she had mentioned, oh, I colored my hair, I did my nails because everything's so structured in the military. And I answered as well. Like I started growing my hair out, and then I grew like my facial hair and all that stuff as soon as I got out because I had not been able to do that for so many years while in the service. And I'm curious to hear from you all, like, what is something that you did, the first thing you did when you left the service? Like, would you do like Navy cop? Would you do like paint your toenails? Like, what is the first thing you did when you left the service that you had not been able to do while you were active duty? Put that in the comments there. That's right. Yeah, I found that out, Brian Hahn. They will not deviate from that contract. So I'm like, maybe like an after hours thing, I suppose. So, but yeah, they will not deviate from that contract whatsoever. He says some guys shave their legs. Hey man, it makes you swim faster, dude. You got to stay amphibious. Brian Hahn, yes, they got to get that sweet government money. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why, how likely would it be for a group of veterans to come together and make another organization, business, or whatever, and about TRS and potentially outbid this contractor? Because I don't see it as anything useful coming from them. I feel like you give me a day, I'll come up with a way better curriculum on military to civilian transition. Oh no. Oh, Navy cop. I'm sensing a Navy joke here. Painting my toenails. Geez, I bought my first man thong. Oh no, and he wore it backwards. Weird. Oliver Rust says, I've never paid for a haircut in decades to do it myself. Dude, you and me both, man. You and me both. Still to this day. I mean, just last week I cut my hair, right? I still cut my own hair. I think I paid for maybe five haircuts during my entire Marine Corps career and even now. So in the last 22 years, even before that, because I was cutting my hair before I joined the military. It's probably going on like 23, 24 years that I've been cutting my own hair. There you go. Always show up on gunny time. Tony Slaughter. I was I stopped showing up. I stopped gunny timing myself a long time ago. This is something that kind of like once you get into like the chief warrant officer ranks, it's like sometimes you don't even go to these things, and people are like, "Hey, where were you?" I was out doing chief warrant officer things, man. So I forgot what gunny time was. Good luck with you. Yeah, I'm gonna need a hookup from headquarters Marine Corps to get some of these contracts. Yeah, but you know what? There's a will, there's a way, and networking is key, man. It's who you know. It is who you know. So we'll see how far that can go. Yeah, dude. As soon as I went on terminal leave, man, I stopped shaving. Like I was like, I gotta let my skin breathe a little bit, man. That's right, cosmetic mirror, and that's exactly what I use, dude. Exactly what I use. Med board in 1987 and shown the door. Oh man, James Lytle coming through. Good to have you, buddy. Shown the door. Uncle Sam's Canoe Club. Yeah, dude. So yeah, if you're just joining the chat here, the live stream, um, proud to say that I've recently connected and have jumped on with the University of Utah as their veteran uh, life experience consultant. And what does that mean? That means that every so often as they're doing their study on veterans and military to civilian transition, I'm jumping in to assist with the conversation, with the focus groups and things like that. So very cool to have linked up with them and be brought on with the university. And along with that, when I was brought on, this was like 2 days ago, they asked me, "Hey, do you know any other veterans that would be interested in jumping on a focus group?" They require or they give compensation for it, jumping on a focus group to talk about their military to civilian transition and their transition into a civilian workplace after the military. And immediately I thought, yes, I do. I I know a lot of veterans who may want to talk about this, who may want to share their experiences. And at the same time, they give you a $45 Amazon gift card. The University of Utah does for your time, of course. So it's not me giving you a $45 gift card. I don't make the big bucks like that. It's the University of Utah doing that. So um, it's this morning I did a focus group just to see what it's like. Jumped on. There were 2 doctors, 2 PhDs on there, and 3 veterans. I was one of the veterans, and they just asked about our life in the military, after the military. A lot of great questions. So and that's when I thought, this would be great for the community. Whoever wants to jump on and maybe buy yourself some new underwear with a $45 gift card would be awesome. That would be awesome. Let me see. James Lytle, nice. Well, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, that's kind of you to say that. Um, and I almost didn't answer the email back because I thought it was like a scam, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we heard from this other university about you meeting up with this doctor and all that stuff." And I'm like, oh, okay, well, there we go. Oliver Russ, what's your answer on the Sea Story book? Just asking. Okay. Or the update on the Sea Story book. Oh yeah, we did talk about the Sea Stories book, right? Let me write that down here real quick. I don't have an update on that. I've been concentrating a lot on school lately. Proud to announce that I'm keeping a 4.0 GPA so far. So hopefully it stays like that. But um, thank you for reminding me on that Sea Stories book. So being that it's all different services, we might have to come up with a different name than Sea Stories book. So what do you think? What, like, military experience book? I don't know what we'd call it. Stories book. Brian Hahn, what is the end goal of the university study? And that's a great question. I am still getting. I just got brought on 2 days ago. I'm still getting information before I send out any links or anything like that. I'm getting all the information on that so I can explain everything uh, about their study. But it's a study between them and let me see here. Give me a second. Mm, I'm reading this here. Gosh, where did I see that? Okay, all right. So yeah, as I found it here, the study is being funded by the Veterans Transition Research Lab at Duke University, and it's being conducted by researchers from University of Utah. So more to come on that one. Only sea lawyers have authorization. Militaries, believe it or not, that's not bad. Believe it or not. And we can have stories of Navy cops' time and wherever he went, Bangkok and Oliver Rust's time in the Philippines or whatever we got. They were thinking about all the transition stuff. I never heard anything like that. Yeah. So I'll give you some background on this. I was doing some research for a master's degree. I'm in behavioral psychology master's degree, and I contacted a doctor from UCLA who, well, her research paper showed up, and I cited her research paper on my paper, and so I liked it so much that I reached out to this person. Um, we had a Zoom meeting, then we met up for coffee, her and another researcher, and over here in La Jolla, met her for coffee maybe about a month or two ago, and mentioned that there's a big push for a lot of veteran research amongst universities, not just UCLA. And I'm like, yeah, I'd be interested to jump on and help out with that in any way I can. So then that prompted, I guess she sent over my information to University of Utah and then Duke University and all that. So they're all doing some kind of veteran research. But in any way that I can help and get information on, information established on helping the veteran community and helping to understand and getting research completed and potentially, I don't know if this would affect the VA at all, but potentially doing something with the VA as well. I'm all for helping out the veteran community, man. I mean, there's a lot of pushback and a lot of stuff. I mean, you've already seen it in the news. Like you've seen like a lot of this legislation getting like pushed around. Like, hey, we're going to take away this, we're going to take away that. I think it was HR 9237. They were talking about taking away the sleep apnea and the tinnitus. Now I think that's been stalled right now, but it's a constant fight for our stuff, man. A constant fight for these benefits that we should have earned, right? I mean, they are earned. They shouldn't be moving. Tony Slaughter says you should interview Michael Craigholm. He made the transition to business. Michael Craigholm, huh? Craigholm. Don't know the gentleman, but I'll look him up. Navy cop says totally missed Thailand. We were a day out when the Nimitz, I believe, had orders to the Persian Gulf early, so we went to top steam, bypassing Thailand and the other ports. It's probably for the best, Navy cop. It's probably for the best. He is in Florida. So, hey, yeah, I'll look him up. I've not heard of this gentleman before. Okay, I'm familiar with the Space Coast area. He said, I don't think it was taking away as much as reducing to offset paying. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I meant. Like reducing it, right? I think it went from like 50% to 10% or something like that. The reduction, but I mean, it's significant, significant. And when I heard about this stuff going through, like getting pushed through, I reached out to a few active duty folks that I know who are going to be retiring this year, asking them, "Hey, look, if you haven't already done your like BDD claim, get that trash in like now because they're looking to make some changes, and you don't want to be on the crap end of this. So get your BDD done now." And but it's tough if you're not going to be you EASing until after the fact, after they make your decision, then you kind of screw it anyway. Yeah, so like Space Coast, like Titusville, yeah, Operation Fury. Yeah, I'll look him up. Michael, this gentleman here. Mobile jujitsu. Like what? That's new to me. Like, does he just show up places and start doing jujitsu on mats in like parking lots, or does he go to people's houses? That's kind of a cool business idea. Like, you can't come to this dojo. I will come. I will bring the dojo to you. I kind of like that. Yeah, so if you're just joining us, the topic of the day is why do some veterans struggle to adapt after the military? And this comes after I sat down with University of Utah's researchers this morning to answer a few questions. And I'm passing that along to any veterans who may want to jump on and be a part of a focus group with the University of Utah, being funded by Duke University's uh, Veteran Transition Research Lab. And essentially, they're trying to find out about the military to civilian transition, do a study on that, and how it affects veterans entering the civilian workforce for the first time. So I jumped on there. There was two other veterans there with me, and we were just talking about our experiences. Very good talk. It went for about an hour and a half. And if you're interested in jumping on this focus group, they also give you a compensation of a $45 Amazon gift card, which you can buy new socks. What can you buy for 45 bucks on Amazon? Give me the most random things you can buy on Amazon right now. Put it in the comments. For 45 bucks, you can buy, I'm afraid to know what you can buy for 45 bucks on Amazon. Not over $45, right at $45 or under. What are some of the things? Jiu-jitsu in sketchy alleyways. Oh, hell no. Doing jiu-jitsu at nursing homes. Okay. Senior citizen jiu-jitsu. All Earn, yeah, our earned benefits should never be used as political tool. You're absolutely right. Fortunately, it has historically always been a political football. Look up Hooverville. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. It's unfortunate. there, there are, yeah. I noticed that when I started going to the VA, how they have like the police little room in the back, and there's armed guards there, and I'm thinking like, what's the reason for that? Like, anytime I've been to the VA, it always seemed pretty chill, pretty calm. But I assume they don't have metal detectors when you walk through the VA, so anybody can really go in there, right? Yeah, you can buy a skip it, like the early 90s type of thing that you put around your ankle, jump around with a ball. There's a counter on this ball. Skip it. I like that. $45 get you a skip it on Amazon. So yeah, you get that Amazon gift card from University of Utah when you join that focus group, and you can buy whatever you want on Amazon after that. A skip it, pair of underwear. I don't know, several pairs of underwear. James Lytle, I'm 6'3" and I still can't stomach whining civilians or coworkers. Dude, I don't think anybody can, man. I I can't stand that as well. Like the victim noises is what we called them in when I was at TBS, the basic school, right? Going from enlisted to officer, you got to go to TBS, and there was there was at one point there was some complaining going on, right? So the scenario was we were on a hike back. We did like a 20-mile hike back from whatever the range was to excuse me, to back to the barracks. And it was like 2 in the morning. We're tired, we're dirty, we're sleepy, right? 2 in the morning, you're finishing your hike, your hump, and after stopping to change your socks and all that stuff and accountability and all this trash. And you were, we thought we were done. We were going to stop at the barracks, right? And then you do like the accountability check for all your gear and all the trash. But we marched right past the barracks, and we went into an empty parking lot. And then they said, "Hey, everybody, grab your note-taking gear and get ready to copy." And essentially, they gave us a 5-paragraph order that we needed to write right then and there at about 2 in the morning in the TBS parking lot. It just messed with our minds because we thought we were going to get a chance to finally shower off and go to sleep. 2 in the morning. And they set up speakers around the parking lot with, just car horns and crying baby noises to kind of, hype up the, your anxiety, I suppose, and see how well you can write a 5-paragraph order right there in that parking lot. I was pissed, man. I was like, man, I'm whatever. And I didn't even have a pen on me, dude. I was like minimal lighting. I had to find like somebody had an extra pen, and I freaking wrote down whatever I wrote down is what I wrote down. I'm sure I didn't write anything legible down, but yeah, the games that they play. So after that, the instructor came up and said, "Hey, we heard a lot of victim noises out there with people complaining," and all that to kind of go full circle to your comment. I'm 63 and I still can't stomach whining civilians or coworkers. Oh, there was a lot of whining Marines there as well. All veteran and families have earned their VA benefits. We signed a blank check with no guarantees of returning, and if we did, we're broken in many ways. Yeah, you do sign that blank check, man. You don't know what's going to come. And there's been a lot of talk recently. I mean, I've seen it on Reddit. I've seen other people put it out there, like combat veterans and non-combat veterans. And I've seen talk of people saying, "Hey, people who didn't go to combat should not get 100% VA disability," things like that, or get a high disability rating. And I would counter that with, yes, combat gives you a certain experiences that contribute towards your disability rating. But at the same time, when not a combat not in a combat zone or not having deployed, you're still training to potentially deploy. You're still training, right? So you're still having to go on ruck marches or humps. You're still doing PT, you're still staying ready. So that causes issues, when you're constantly humping or marching or rucking, you start to get back issues. Jumping out of 7 tons, you're gonna get knee issues, ankle issues, running, stress fractures. So all that stuff still happens. So doesn't I mean, if you haven't deployed and you still get 100%, there's a reason why. I mean, you're still remaining ready. Go to the comments here real quick. Um, Untrackable. Welcome, welcome. My adaptation has been more about dealing with civilians than becoming one. Curious about what you're dealing with civilians about, man. I like the comment. Just what? Just give me some context here. Yeah, you don't have to get all into it. Like, don't give me specifics. Like the other day, John pissed me off or whatever. No, just let me know what you mean. Uh, oh, damn. Navy cop, dude. You are too kind. You're going to give me a shake weight? I, I seen one of those at Ross the other day. Ross, that store, the clothing store, or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on the shake weight. You know, uh, I don't know why they ever came out with that. That looks so silly. Yes, I agree with this, Tony Slaughter. Training is just as dangerous as war. That is, you're absolutely right. I know of a Marine who broke his back jumping out of a 7 ton, landed the wrong way on a rock or something. I don't know. Crazy, but yeah, broke his freaking back. Yeah, exactly. Tons of injuries outside of combat zones. Tons of them. Adhering to policy. Okay, this goes in line with what you're mentioning, dealing with civilians and becoming one. Adhering to policy, but most of all, quitting. Yeah, I also dislike that. I risked my ass more in training than combat. Dude, yeah, I mean, you got to stay ready, right? Stay ready and train like you fight, and you're gonna get hurt doing that. This guy. Someone in the Coast Guard might end up in chest deep water. The compensation for that level of PTSD might be too much to bear. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, man, some Coast Guards folks do some pretty badass stuff, dude. They do. Brandon Addison, thank you for your comment about the 100% disabilities about being in or not in a combat zone. Yeah, absolutely, dude. It's you don't have to be in a combat zone to rate that 100%, man. And there's been a lot of pushback on that. I've seen a lot of comments on that, and I always wonder, like, why? Why? Um, the training environment, people get hurt just as bad in the training environment. I was training at one point, and I was running, and the stupid thing is, when you deploy, like, you're in boots, right? So for a longest time, I was running in boots, like training in boots. Um, the boots are not made for running, right? Like combat boots. I mean, now they're more like, depends on what branch you are. I've seen some Army folks or Navy folks with like these Nike boots that are like nice and like lightweight. We don't get those in the Marine Corps. So I was using these lightweight boots to run, at least the Marine Corps ones. And I was like, I had a stress fracture at one point. I was like, my freaking leg hurts, man. I went to medical. They did an x-ray. They're like, yeah, there's a hairline fracture on your freaking shin. I'm like, what? Like, how much have you been running? I'm like, I'm trying to do like, I don't know, 30, 40 miles a week. You're going to have to take it easy, dude. So yeah, you get hurt in training, man. You do. Yeah, training in the military is no joke. Yeah, I agree. Wow, my dad is 100% PT vet, stationed in Little Creek. And when he came home on leave, he rode a motorcycle Some drunk driver did an improper U-turn, almost killing him. And you see that more often than not, where folks, go to combat, they survive all this stuff, they survive the military, and then one mistake, like in a non-combat environment, just changes everything for them. It's crazy. Shipboard workups between deployments are equivalent to working in high-risk industrial zones. Oh, I can imagine, dude. I can imagine. Yeah, Coast Guard people do some crazy heroic stuff. Dude, I've seen some videos of some Coast Guard folks, man. That's yeah, they do some stuff, man. They're like these dudes are like jumping on submarines, man. It's crazy. No, hell no. Yeah, train your feet to run. You can run through anything. The pain comes later. Yeah, so I've been wearing some very minimal shoes. Here you go. I've been wearing some very minimal shoes in the last maybe year to kind of strengthen the muscles in the legs. So it's working. They're working. It hurts at the beginning, but it works. Popeye was not a coastie, was he? No, he was a sailor, right? Popeye the sailor man, not the Popeye the Coast Guardsman. Oh gosh. Tony Slaughter, I got pneumonia and pleurisy in boot camp. I felt like I was going to die. I had pneumonia in boot camp as well, man. It sucks. It's terrible. I understand that. Yeah. So, topic of the day is why do some veterans struggle to adapt after the military? If you're just joining, why did you struggle, or if you did at all, struggle to adapt to civilian life after the military? And what was that struggle? How did you overcome it, if you did overcome it at all? Put it in the comments here. Yeah, Coast Guard is starting to get into special operations, dude, for real. They're doing some crazy, crazy stuff out there, man. Respect to Coast Guardsmen and women. The line of duty Jackman investigations are crazy sometimes. Tons of bad injuries documented in those investigations. Brian, man, I'll tell you, man, the last big investigation I was on was I was driving to Camp Pendleton every day for probably a month, and it was one where I think a 2-star got fired. If you remember back a few years ago, let me see if I can find it here. Let me see. I think it was 2021. Yeah, so it was. I'll put this on the screen here real quick. This is the last big investigation that I was on, and it was insane, dude. It was crazy reading this. The families of 9 service members killed in sunken AAV announced lawsuit against vessel maker. Yeah, so essentially, they couldn't open the freaking hatch, man. It was like 9 people inside of this AAV started sinking. They could not open the freaking AAV hatch. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine the freaking terror of going down in an AAV while the water's rushing in somehow, just sinking in there. And I was on the investigation team for that, dude. Damn near brought my ass to tears, man. Like, I cannot imagine the sheer terror of going down and knowing that this is it. This is it. Insane. It says for 45 minutes they sat in the dark coffin and slowly sank to the bottom of the ocean. Just think about that and the freaking terror that brings, man. I cannot. Yeah, that was the last investigation I was on. Question from Skyhack. That's a great question. I don't know. Not one that I feel like I can answer. I mean, yeah, money goes to different places, and I just sometimes I don't even know why. Health, yeah, health. So why do some vets struggle to adapt after the military? Tony Slaughter says health. Oh hell no, I don't think he was a coastie man. Popeye was a druggie. Oh my god. Yeah, that's why his one eye was small, right? Yeah, Tony Slaughter. That AAV accident was crazy, man. It was a month of just a lot of um, there was a lot of high ranking officials in and out of witness interviews and investigation reports. My job was really to start compiling all those reports for the investigating officer, who was, I think, a 1 star. Yeah, I'm Ryan, 2 star. Normally, not normal at all. I remember that training incident. Yeah, that was a rough case. Yeah, so the 2 star I remember was, I think it was, yeah. So this was the 2 star here, and this is unfortunate because this is tied to him now. It looks like when you Google this man, if you can see what I'm seeing here, Major General Robert Castelvi is a retired U.S. Marine Corps officer, best known for his command during a deadly 2020 training disaster that claimed the lives of 8 Marines and 1 sailor. He was cited for his failure to adequately train and equip his troops. That is that is what he's known for, unfortunately. You know. Patrick, hey Vic and team, 392 and a wake up. Doing my second tap class next week. Developing the transition mindset is a deliberate effort and process, dude. You're doing the right thing, man. I mean, you got 392 days. You're getting it done. Um, yeah, dude. I would say stay the course, man, and don't deviate from that. Just keep that mindset that you need to set up for the second chapter of your life, man. As I was mentioning it here, but I think before you showed up, too many people are not ready for what is about to come. Okay, there are some very rough seas after the transition from military to civilian transition. It can get very rough out there, but you have to have a good network. A lot of people know people who have been through that and have survived and done great things after that. They'll show you the course, man. Yeah, I'm glad that you're doing it and you've got the right mindset for it. Um, yeah, I'd second what Navy Cop says. I would love to hear about the experience with TAP and potentially if it's changed. So I haven't been to TAP in like 2.5 years. I retired 2.5 years ago. Um, Probably been to TAP like maybe 3 years ago. I've been to TAP. So curious to hear if anything has changed since then. I'm sure it has, but curious to see what else they are incorporating into TAP. Says I watched an amphibious vessel fall off the coast of Okinawa. Honduran Marines, pitiful. It fell off the coast of Okinawa? Like, fell off what? Yeah, 16 years since TAP. I hear that, man. Yeah, so something has had damn, I can't even speak right. Something's had to have changed since we went through TAP. So, Patrick, you're just joining us, and I'm glad you are, man. So, the reason I did this live stream today is not only to find out what vets are struggling with to adapt to after the military. It's also because I just joined the University of Utah as their veteran life experience consultant, and within that, doing focus groups to assist with their research on the veterans' military to civilian transition and how vets can adjust to working in a civilian workplace after the military. And I jumped on a focus group just to see how it was this morning. I just got like the position maybe 2 days ago, jumped on a focus group this morning, and it was like an hour and a half long. And it was just asking questions, two doctors asking, two researchers asking veterans questions. It was myself, two other veterans, and we were kind of sharing our experiences in the military and how that, mentally, how it hit us, what we could have done better, et cetera, while transitioning over to the civilian side. So with that, they had asked me like, hey, do you know any of the veterans who may be interested in doing this focus group? And I said, yeah, sure. I know a ton of veterans who may be interested. So I'll be kind of taking some folks who are interested in doing this. There's a few that I've seen in here that have already given me a thumbs up, but essentially you do a 90-minute focus group with a follow-on after, and they give you a $45 gift card to Amazon. So you can buy a whole lot of Tootsie Rolls with that, or a new bag of Hanes underwear, or whatever the hell you want with $45. So that's what it is. Let me see here. If anybody is interested, please either put in the comments here, or better yet, just send me an email, thegreenlogbook@gmail.com, and let me know. That way I can keep a good track of who wants to do it. And the reason why they're like, hey, Vic, I think you'd be good for this is because they tried to do this last year, and they got a lot of folks joining the focus group who were not veterans, who had never had any military experience. And I was wondering how that conversation went, because like they're asking very like military oriented questions, and I'm curious like how people answered these things. Rich Salinas, good to have you, buddy. Good to have you here. Jeez, Rich, I'm at work and I showed up. Yeah, man. It was kind of a last minute thing. I didn't plan to do this live stream today, but I thought, after sitting down with these university researchers, I'm like, it'd be super cool to get the word out to the community and let them know about what's going on, like this research that's being conducted. It's being funded by Duke University and being conducted by University of Utah through their veteran, what's the place called? Veteran Transitions Research Laboratory. So very cool stuff coming down range towards us. Hopefully I can help out as much as I can and give them some good feedback, so that way they can make this study as best as they can. Let's see here. I think we already got the salty old Marine. He wants to join in on this too. So got a message from him, or a comment from him as well. So very cool stuff coming down range. Let me see here. Oh, and thank you for the folks who are subscribing to the channel. I just saw that the subscriber count just went up a couple. So I appreciate that. And if you press like or whatever, that little thumbs up on the live stream, it'll put it in front of more people, more veterans, more people's YouTube feed, and get more people involved. So I truly appreciate that. And if you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to do so. I talk a lot about the military civilian transition, life after the uniform, and how you can make the most of your veteran benefits. I use myself as a guinea pig for a lot of this stuff, so I like to report firsthand how things are working and give you an after action report on all of that. Let me see. Brian Hahn, good to have you, buddy. Thanks for coming on to the Green Logbook. Let me see here. James Lytle, you are the tip of the brain spear, Vic. You'll be great. Oh, well, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's anything I can do to help out the vet community, dude. Short of like running for office or something, because I don't know if I have the desire to do that. But yeah, any way I can help out the community. Let me see. Trying to see what this thing is. I've never received one of these before. Mm, I just got a gift, it looks like. I'm not sure what that is. I was gifted something here, and I want to say thank you. And if for some reason it's not showing up on the screen, it says sent chili for 6 jewels. I'm not sure what that is. I'm kind of new to the whole jewels and stuff. So if you can fill me in on how that works, I'm not exactly sure. Um, there are so many options on this new YouTube update for like the channels. I'm looking at it. I'll have to play around with it for a little bit. Um, let's see. I don't have the lobotomy to run for office. Yeah, so no, I truly appreciate what everybody's doing and the involvement that they have in the chat. Um, this this meeting that I had with these researchers was meaningful, and it was something that I definitely wanted to bring to our community, because I don't like the idea of, here in 5 years, what else will veterans have to fight for? You know, we've already fought for our benefits. Why do we need to continue fighting for this stuff? It should be a given. Like, it should be just presented to us. Hey, thank you for your service. Here is how we're taking care of our veteran community. But it's a constant fight for our benefits, and I hate that. And if I can be just a little piece of that in helping to establish this and open up people's eyes to, like, hey, look, it really is not easy to go from military to civilian. It really isn't. You know, you've been in uniform for so long that it's hard to adjust to a new type of life. If I can open up people's eyes to that and let them understand that, I'm willing to do that. Let me see, going to the comments here in this story canvas 11. Hey, welcome. How's the beach in SD now? The beach in SD? I don't know. I mean, I haven't been to the beach in a little bit, but if you go, let me see, a little bit south of San Diego, like towards Imperial Beach, there's still signs up that say, contaminated area, because you still get all that runoff sewage from the Tijuana. From Tijuana, I don't know what part of Tijuana or what they're doing. I guess all their trash is coming into the San Diego. Even Coronado, they have signs, right? Coronado's beautiful, but they have signs that they're saying, maybe think twice before you swim in the water, because it is not, it's not safe. It's contaminated. So people still swim, people still go in the water, people still surf and stuff like that. So I mean, today's a nice day out. It's what, like 70 something degrees right now. So let's see, what is it? It's about 73, 75 degrees. So it's not too bad. Yeah, I couldn't tell you about that next comment, story canvas. I have not looked that up. I have not looked it up, man. Navy cop says he was fighting. He's currently fighting for benefits he was denied 15 years ago, and it's exhausting. Dude, I hate that you're having to do that, but I can see how it can be exhausting, man. I mean, these are things that you earned fucking 15 years ago, dude. The hell. That's what I've heard when I was about to retire. They said getting in is the easy part. Getting out is the hard part. Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure about too many of these folks in the political sector, though. Just reading some of your comments here. Gosh, where was it? Just looking at the damn thing. So yeah, I'd say send me an email if you have my email address. Send me an email if you want to be a part of this study. I've already got one email in here, so thank you all for shooting that out. If you want to be a part of that study, um, and we'll get it set up. Okay, it'll be a 90-minute focus group. You get a $45 Amazon gift card for your time, and it's all run by the University of Utah, funded by Duke University's Veteran Transition Department. And I just had I got the news about 2 days ago that hey, look, you're going to be our veteran life experience consultant with the University of Utah, which is cool. I'll be doing it here from San Diego, but just kind of helping out with their research. And I'm doing a master's in behavioral psychology as well. So, what better way to help contribute, right? And then to learn it myself, and then be in there in the focus groups with a few other PhDs and learning this stuff. So all good. Any way I can help out the community. Good stuff. Tomorrow I am looking at doing the what is it? Oh, excuse me, it just escaped my mind. The trivia night. Trivia night. Gonna lower the amount of questions that I'm asking, and just kind of make it a little bit quicker to go through. But going to be doing the veteran trivia night tomorrow as a way to connect with fellow veterans. If you have not done one of these before, do them. I usually do them on Wednesday nights, so look out for that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, press notifications. It'll give you notifications on when I do them. Usually Wednesday nights. Probably will do it around 3 o'clock maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure, but look out for that one. Should be a good time. Should be a good time. And yeah, I think let me see here. And I'm not sure exactly what the topic will be yet. I've got a few topics in the works, but I don't know what it's going to be yet. We'll see. Maybe something not military related. I'm not sure. Yeah, that this is probably because you've been looking it up yourself, Tony. You know all about it, dude. Probably more than the DAB guy does. James Lytle, yeah, absolutely. Tune in. Tune in. I'm all for that. I'm out of the office at 4, so I won't be online working an evening concert. Awesome. Until 1 a.m., dude. That's way past my bedtime, dude. I wouldn't be able to survive, man. I'd be asleep. I'd be asleep. Yeah. So with that, no, I do appreciate everybody coming by. I really wanted to get the word out. If you are interested in the focus group, they're looking for about 15, 20 people, veterans, to come on. If you're interested in the focus group, shoot me an email at thegreenlawbook@gmail.com. I will get that link out your way. You know, um, just got to make sure you're a veteran first. So let me know what service, what branch of service, the years, and all that good stuff. Um, so if you're interested, it's a 90-minute focus group, and then you get Amazon gift card, which is pretty cool. But I'm not doing it for the gift card. I'm just doing it for the connections to other vets, and really to help out the research, because this will be published at some point in time, so people can cite this, and potentially it can make some waves later on down the road. So nothing right now, nothing immediately, but down the road, potentially you can be a part of a study that makes a difference in veterans' lives. Absolutely. Paycheck is a paycheck, man. I agree with that. I agree with that. Okay. With that, I truly appreciate everybody coming by. If you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe to the channel. It would really help out a lot in getting towards the next milestone here. I'm so close to this new milestone. We'll see. I've never really been a fan of just like seeking subscribers, but it's so cool to see like a 10,000 subscriber mark on there. So definitely subscribe if you haven't already done so. It would be awesome. Let me see here. And tomorrow, stand by for the veteran trivia night going on around 3, 4 o'clock. I don't know yet. We'll see what the topic is as well. I'll keep you on your toes with that one. But at this point, I got to take off. I got to go. So I appreciate everybody coming on. Thank you for watching and hanging out with me today on the Green Logbook. Out here.